All right, if you're gearing up for the PTE exam, you really need to pay attention. Pearson is about to roll out some massive changes for 2025, and believe me, they're going to completely reshape how this test is scored. A lot of old strategies, they're about to become history. So let's jump right in and see exactly what's new. So, this brings us to the big question on everyone's mind, right? Is that study plan you've been working on now completely obsolete? Well, the short answer is yeah, pretty much. You're definitely going to need to make some pretty big adjustments. And in this explainer, we are going to break down exactly why. Okay, first things first. Let's be super clear about this. This isn't just a rumor or some speculation we found online. Pearson has officially released a document detailing a brand new scoring algorithm. And what that means is the entire system, how points are given out across all the different tasks, is fundamentally changing. And what this really means is that you just can't stick to the old game plan anymore. What used to be a super high-scoring task might not be nearly as important now. And at the same time, other tasks have suddenly become absolutely critical to getting a top score. You have to adapt. It's that simple. So let's kick things off with the speaking and writing sections, because honestly, this is where some of the most shocking changes are. Seriously, what you thought you knew about how to score well in these modules is probably about to be turned on its head. Okay, first up, read aloud. For years, this task was an absolute goldmine, right? It fit points into both your speaking and your reading scores. Well, not anymore. Starting in 2025, it will only contribute points to your speaking score. That is a huge, huge shift, especially for anyone who is leaning on it to boost their reading section. Now, check out this number, 25. Just let that sink in for a second. 25 points. This single number represents a massive power shift for one specific task. Any ideas which one it might be? And here it is, the new heavy hitter on the block, describe image. This is the new reality, folks. Its contribution to your speaking score has absolutely skyrocketed to around 25 points. This makes it the new king of the speaking module and a task you absolutely have to get right. Now, let's switch gears to the writing module, because there are some really interesting shifts here too. For summarized written text, it's not just about structure anymore. The content and keywords you pick are way more important. The essay? It's become another new giant worth a ton more points, but, and this is key, only for your writing score. An answer short question? It's been completely reassigned. It gives you 0 points for speaking now and only counts towards listening. All right, so now that we've seen the speaking and writing shakeups, let's talk about reading and listening. Because, all these changes create a kind of ripple effect, and you need to be ready for the new realities in these sections too. Okay, this next one is a huge deal. Reading and writing blanks, that classic drop-down task, will no longer give you a single point for your writing score. Not one. It's now a pure reading task. This totally changes the game for how you should be approaching both of these sections. For years, we've all called write from dictation the king of the PTE test. It was the task, the most important one. Well, a new era has dawned. The king has officially been dethroned. Now, it's still important for sure, but its overall point value has dropped a lot. It is no longer the absolute ruler of this test. And the hits just keep on coming. It's the same story for listening, fill in the blanks. This task is now a one-trick pony. All of its points, every single one, now go only to listening. There's 0 contribution to your writing score anymore. All right, so we've covered the what, now for the how much. Let's get into the nitty-gritty and look at the actual hard data. Pearson released the official percentages, and we've done the math to figure out what that means in terms of actual points. But first, just a super quick thing so this all makes sense. Your score report says it's out of 90, right? Well, the actual points you can earn from tasks are distributed across 80 points. That's because the minimum you can get in any section is 10. So when you see the numbers on the next few slides, just remember they're all based on that 80-point scale. All right, here we go, speaking, and wow, just look at that. Describe image is sitting way up top, a monster with around 25 points. And look at the new task, summarize group discussion. It's a powerhouse, giving you about 15 for speaking and another 16 for listening. Meanwhile, poor old read aloud has dropped all the way down to just 8 points. Now let's check out writing. And what's really fascinating here is how 2 tasks just completely dominate the field. Your essay now makes up about 25 points, and summarized written text is right behind it with 22. These 2 tasks right here, They're the new foundation of your entire writing score. And for reading, remember how we said read aloud is no longer helping here? So where do those points come from now? Well, here's your answer. Reading and writing blanks is the new leader of the pack with 22 points. But just as important, look at summarized written text stepping up to become a huge contributor, feeding about 18 points into your reading score. Okay, that was a lot of data, I know, but here comes the most important part of this whole explainer. What do you actually do with all this information? Let's turn all these numbers and changes into a clear, actionable game plan for you. It all comes down to this. You have to reallocate your study time. It's about knowing what to prioritize, like describe image and essay. And just as importantly, it's about knowing what to deprioritize for certain skills. Like, don't spend hours grinding read-alouds hoping it'll boost your reading score. That time is much better spent elsewhere now. So if you want to crush speaking and writing, here is your new playbook. Number 1, you have to master describe image and essay, period. They are the new giants. Number 2, perfect summarized group discussion because it's an amazing 2-for-1 deal for speaking and listening. And number 3, for summarized written text, your focus must be on pulling out and using the right content and keywords. And what about reading and listening? Your strategy here is just as straightforward. You need to focus heavily on both types of reading blanks. They're your biggest point sources. Next, remember that summarized written text is now a major supplier of your reading points. For your listening score, don't forget how critical those high-scoring speaking tasks are now. And finally, don't sleep on highlight incorrect words. It's still a really solid, reliable contributor for both reading and listening. So if you take away just one single thing from all of this today, let it be this. The game has changed. Your success now depends entirely on your ability to adapt your strategy and focus your precious energy on the task that will actually deliver the most points in 2025. So, there you have it. The new rules of the game are on the table. You know exactly what's changed, which tasks are up, and which tasks are down. The only real question left is, what's your new game plan going to be to conquer this test?